For once, Oda has decided to go all in on the stakes, going in like the Red Wedding and busting down walls like the Kool-Aid Man. We have this week's chapter, chapter 1014, as one of the most stunning chapters in recent times, showing us just how far Oda is willing to go for this arc. And ooh boy, I can't wait to dive in. Now, Momo's scenes alone created a lot of theory crafting material. Now, personally, as much as I would love to delve deeper into some of that, I kind of don't want to, simply because I'm not that confident in my theory crafting skills. But nonetheless, it is apparent that he really, he can't die, not just because he's, the future shogun, so to speak. So going forward, it will be quite fun to see where this goes. Once he gets away from, well, I'm just going to skip straight to not to the end, but let's focus more on that room's events. And then we'll kind of go back to the other stuff like Chopper and stuff. Because the meat of the chapter is really what happens surrounding where Momo is right now. And that includes him having a headache, presumably either from his observation haki reacting to Luffy's defeat, or perhaps something similar to when he connected to Tsushima. But nonetheless, Kinemon and Kiku managed to get to him before Kanjuro does, and not much, because Kanjuro does still come in, and he comes in as Oden again. And while Shinobu and Momo don't know it's Kanjuro right away, they do know that Kanjuro can do these type of things. But at the same time, there's a lot going on. So as far as they know, Kanjuro could be dead or God knows where. They really didn't have enough time to put two and two together, and were way too confused by how readily Kiku and Kinemon were to cut down what they believed for the smallest of seconds was Oden. But at the same time, they weren't really prepared, because in the end, Kiku couldn't bring herself to the point of cutting down the visage of a man she owed herself so much to. She couldn't really do it. And it sucks, because in the end, she knew very well it was Kanjuro. I see a lot of people were like, I guess she just didn't believe she could finish. No, it was the ties to the image of Oden. That's what, caused her hesitation. So I do feel pity for her. I know some people don't. Some people feel she might have been stupid. But she owed a lot of her life to that man. And unfortunately, she couldn't bring herself to it. And I do believe if she's not dead at this very second, she'll either succumb from her wounds, or she'll, get taken care of by the person who comes in slightly after the rest of the stuff, which was, Kinemon basically cutting down Kanjuro, and Kanjuro saying that as far as his role was concerned and the end of his role, there was no one more fitting than the person who played his character's best friend. Which shows a lot, because it shows how deep he was into the role, but that he really wasn't getting any redemption. The role meant so much to him, and the reason he took up that role meant too much for him. So that the most he could really do was just, in a way that made sense to his internal logic, say that there was no one more, suited for killing him. And that's heartbreaking in a different sense, which means that if there is going to be any redemption for the Kurozumi clan's existing members, it would have to be through Orochi, who probably is still alive, as most of us probably assume. But assuming makes an ass out of you and me, so I'm not going to go there, even though technically I already did. Nonetheless, with that being taken care of, they don't even have a second to rest, because, oh yeah, Kaido comes right through that wall like he's the motherfucking Kool-Aid Man. No lie, my mind went straight back to all the times that Family Guy would do the whole Kool-Aid Man joke. And yeah, no, Kaido doesn't even give them a second. He just comes in and busts Kinemon's at least skull. I say at least because going by Oda's normal standards, yeah, he at least got hit because the swords that he used to attempt to offend got, smashed down. But personally, maybe it's because I've read a lot more seinen series over the years. Hell, dark fantasy I've been reading a lot since the passing of Mura of Berserk. But no, it really does look, minus the blood, as if the entire top half of Kinemon was crushed to bits. And I feel like the cracked Kanabo was kind of censoring that a little bit, but also with the very much split blades of Kinemon, it kind of leads to that point where it can absolutely be what I think I saw, but it could also be a more PG thing where maybe Kinemon's top half of his body isn't crushed to a pulp, but his head is cracked in beyond all recognition. Well, not beyond all recognition, maybe like Usopp, but still just fatal enough with all his other injuries. But personally, I do believe that the entire top half of Kinemon is most likely tomato paste on that Kanabo. And what I was saying before about the crack, I did notice that the Kanabo is cracked. So even though Luffy got his ass handed to him, he did manage to at least do something to the weapon. Not enough that it didn't kill Kinemon. I mean, like I said, I'm just going off. Kinemon is dead. Until I hear otherwise, Kinemon is the only one that I can say is confirmed dead, although personally I also believe Kanjuro's definitely dead. And Kiku's either dead at this very moment, or maybe, maybe if she's still breathing when we pan back to Kaido, if we pan back, he'll probably finish her off. But then again, if we don't pan back to Kaido, she's probably dead anyway, let's be honest. Nonetheless, Luffy, it seems like he was going to use either a new technique or Kaido was just plain up taunting how all of his techniques start with Gummo Gummo. Either way, nobody saved him before he fell into the water, so Luffy is literally underwater, and Kaido has Bawang announce this to the entire island, which has now finally reached the mainland as well. So we do actually get slight glimpses of what everyone is doing at the moment in time. We do get a little bit of clarification, because remember when Jinbei versus Who's Who started, Who's Who was in full animal beast form. Now he's in human form. Zoro's awake, and him and Sanji are like, yeah, fuck that, Luffy's alive, which, yeah, he's gotta be alive. Although that when we cut back to him, he's still underwater unconscious. We'll see how long that lasts, him either being alive, which obviously he'll stay alive. Now, a lot of people theorize, and honestly, I believe this to be so. One of the main things, and plus, it was actually kind of foreshadowed, in a sense, because not only was the submarine of law kept in the water, it was specifically shown to us that they did not get out of the water before Onigashima went into the sky. So if that was shown for us for a specific reason, then Jean Bart can save Luffy. I say Jean Bart in particular because back when Jean Bart joined Law, he joined Law, but Law also told him to thank Luffy. This could be his way of thanking Luffy. And the only reason I say that is because Jean Bart has a name to begin with. A name specific, and he has to play some form of a role. And I believe this is part of what his role will be, saving Luffy. But nonetheless, we'll have to see and wait for where it goes. I'm actually surprised nobody mentioned Jean Bart by name that I've seen. I've watched most of the reviews by this point, at least the early ones. I don't think Tekking or Soy or any of the other ones have released any big ones since, but I've actually watched a lot of the live streams and some of my smaller contemporaries. But nonetheless, yeah, I really do believe that Luffy's going to come back at some point, but the real question is how much damage is going to be done on Onigashima before Luffy gets back up. The only thing that at least seems like it's half and half right now is Queen versus Chopper. It seems like King and Marco might have gone a little bit further away from where Queen was, but unfortunately Perospero has tagged in for King, and now it's Perospero and Queen versus Chopper, and that doesn't bode well. But at the same time, Chopper's been going on for at least 20 minutes against King and Perospero, and he's still alive and still fighting. He hasn't been taken down for the count, so even if he can't do any real damage to Queen, he still lasted a half hour against a Yonko commander and someone who's on par with Yonko commanders. So that alone is still going to be a massive strength feat for Chopper, or at least a durability feat. So say what you will, he's definitely doing good. And another thing I noticed is that there was a slight difference in Queen's speech between the official and scans. The scans made it seem like like he was kind of saying Chopper was winning. That wasn't the case in the official. If anything, in the official, it was more like a guy who is winning wouldn't be panting like that, basically saying straight out, you are most certainly not winning. But in the scans, it made it look like, yeah, you're just tossing me around like a rag doll, but you're panting like a bitch. No, he's just straight up not winning. It's basically a bunch of futileness. But also, to briefly, before I go off that tangent, I do want to at least mention that, yeah, we got something from Caesar Clown, even if it's just a flashback. And it does kind of make sense that Caesar would even offhandedly do something that would end up benefiting the Straw Hats in the long run, especially considering his rapport with Chopper. Chopper might not like him, but he is very much good at working with him and using, Caesar's talents for the betterment. So, yeah, no, that makes sense that if there was anyone to improve the Rumble Ball, it would be Caesar. Now, there are still side effects, but you know what? Maybe that's what kept Chopper from really making the Rumble Ball its best, because he probably minimized a lot of side effects. Specifically because he had zero control over that monster form. He probably never really thought, even after he had full control, that there was much more to do, because he just unconsciously locked that idea away. Now that he has the control, he can do what he pleases. But once again, that's really just me spitballing, and I kind of went unscripted for this video for once. I've kind of been going back and forth between scripting and non-scripting. And last week, or not last week, but the last time I managed to do a review, I did use Facecam, and I will be doing that a little bit more going forward. I just didn't do that this week because I am actually getting new equipment. So for next week's review, thank God there's no break, I will be a little bit more experimental with, the formatting of the video. But this one, I kind of just wanted to get my thoughts out. I wanted to riff a bit, spitball, and just get it out there, But also there will be a lot going on in the upcoming week. Maybe I'll make another smaller video tomorrow, because it's Memorial Day for those of us in the US. So, or at least tomorrow is. So for all of you guys, I do hope you enjoyed this video. Please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't already. We are literally one subscriber away from 200, and then just 800 more until we can be monetized again. So let's, push forward. I'm really trying to really prioritize this channel going forward, and some of the other ones if you haven't checked them out already. As I've said in previous videos, the gaming content will be coming out soon, although I held off a little bit specifically because I have the new equipment coming in on Saturday. So we'll see that, and there is a possibility on June 13th I'll do some sort of stream on Twitch. It'll be my birthday, my 27th. Good Lord, another year closer to 30. So come join me on that, and I, Smalls, will see you guys next time. Till then, stay safe.